Hey everyone, it's Matt, and in this video we'll be doing a matchup against a virtual world player. Although this, if you read the title, this is not a pure virtual world. He actually mixes in Swordsoul stuff with virtual world, so I don't know. I don't really get it. I mean, this deck is like, from my experience playing against, it's like 80% virtual world. The Swordsoul stuff didn't really do much. Yeah, I am looking for on the lookout for like a nice Sword Soul matchup to show you guys, because that's like a new archetype, and it's interesting to see. But yeah, Virtual World is still a strong deck. It's still, in my opinion, a top three, best case, worst case, like top five deck in the current meta and format. So, um, yeah, we do play a best of three. I do lose game two. I do not have the replay for game two, unfortunately. That game was not interesting at all. I just kind of giga bricked, like opened, Red Eyes Fusion, Dark Magician. Sorry, I think my opening hand was like Red Eyes Black Dragon, Magical Eyes Fusion, DM Girl, and like two other cards that didn't really get me anything. So, yeah, sometimes you just have those giga brick games, and I mean, I don't know if maybe I should have showed you the replay. If you guys are interested or think that I should save those replays even for like uninteresting games like that, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll consider that for the future. But yeah, yeah, game one and three were interesting, and obviously like I won both. So okay, so let's get into that. So I believe I won the die roll, so I'll be going first. And no, I didn't. I lost the die roll. I'll be going second. Okay, I remember now. Yep. So he starts making his virtual plays. So funny story, as you can notice here. So obviously I open Red Eyes Fusion here, and obviously I open like Hornet Drones with Eagle Booster, which can go into Dragoon, and he has an Ash in hand. But then he has to discard Ash for to make one of his plays. So he decides to keep Called by the Grave over Ash, and I just think that's funny because like obviously I have Red Eyes Fusion in hand, and he doesn't know that. But Call by the Grave is typically, like, if you're going first and you set it, typically more impactful than having an Ash in hand. Typically. But again, he doesn't know I have Red Eyes Fusion, right? But it is funny that he discards this Ash. It definitely amused me a lot. Cold Dragon, Ultimaya. Ultimaya bring out Crystal Wing. So Crystal Wing is probably the most common boss monster that you see Virtual World. They either get Crystal Wing Shen Shen or maybe Crystal Wing Dragoon, maybe Crystal Wing Kaliga. Crystal Wing is typically like the monster they like to end on. So he ends his board with Chuche, which he can't activate yet because he has one banished, or he can't use the effect. Call by the Grave, which is a great interruption normally, and then obviously Crystal Wing. So yeah, I open up, and I'm just going to go ahead and play Red Eyes Fusion. He doesn't have Ash, so Dragoon will pop. So the Crystal Wing will attempt to negate, and at that point, you just let the negate happen. Like I could have chained my Dragoon negate to kill Crystal Wing, but I didn't want to. Like I don't think there's any points to that because I have a second pop, right? So if he had a full board of monsters, like let's say he had like 4 or 5 monsters, then yeah, then in that case I would have negated Crystal Wing, so that I can take him out, and then 2 pops kills 2 monsters, and then I attack the fourth. So I could have cleared 4 monsters like with my negate on Crystal Wing, but in this case I don't feel like it's worth negating. Tackle to Maya, set. So here I have Gozen match, and Gozen match is not as good as Rivalry against Virtual World, but it's still doable, as you'll see in a bit. Eternal Soul, just bring out Dark Magician, and then I have Skill Drain as a last resort, obviously the Dragoon negate, and the next turn I can go into a second Dragoon if needed, right? I have the Sky Striker package. So he uses Chuche. I don't fall for the negate. So Roshi. Alright, at this point, so here's why Rivalry is typically better. So their monsters are psychics and worms, right? So half are psychics, half are worms. And most of their synchros are not psychics or worms, right? You have a warrior, you have like a machine, you have well, I guess the virtual world ones are worms. So like Shen Shen and like JoJo and stuff they're all worms. But Crystal Wing is a dragon, Ultimate is a dragon, right? Um, so yeah, so rivalry would be very good here. But I have Gozen match, and then actually some of the virtual world monsters are Earths, as you see here. So in this case, I'm basically gonna give him a choice. Because if he sends the Earth monster, he'll be stuck with 2 tuners, which can't do anything. If he sends the wind monsters, he'll lose his 2 monsters, right? He has 2 fewer bodies to work with. So He ends up keeping the Earth, sending the winds. He brings back another GG, and then he's he increases the level to 6. He tries to pop Gozen match using Chuche. I negate here because he's banished Chuche. He's using second Chuche. It's a once per turn named effect. So yeah, this is a good point to negate. Alright, so he goes into Fan, which is literally the only play he can make, right? Because he's locked into Earth monsters, and he has no other Earth monsters in his extra deck. So I mentioned he's also Swordsoul. He has like 3 Swordsoul synchros here. Yeah, so then he's going to use Fan to try to banish both Gozen Match and Dark Magician. But I chained Eternal Soul to save the Dark Magician. I could have skill drained, but I figured, nah, I'm okay allowing Gozen Match to go because Gozen Match unlocks unlocks Hornet Drones and the Skytracker package. And also, like, he's already made his plays. Like, what the hell else is he going to do here, right? And worst case, if, like, absolute last resort, I still have a skill drain. So, yeah, I was okay letting Gozen Match go. Yeah, he just surrendered because he saw the writing on the wall. Yeah, so game 2 I Giga Bricked. I didn't show I didn't save the replay, but just as a quick overview of what I would have side decked for game 2. So I knew I would be going second, so I would definitely have side decked in Nibiru because Virtual Worlds definitely summons a lot. Take out the Nadir Servant as I always do. I definitely would have taken out the Judgments because Judgments going second, not so good, and instead put in Harpies and Cyclones because you know, Chuche is annoying to deal with, and you know, and obviously like he relies on his back row in order to make follow plays. And I also added in Pancratops, but I forgot what I took out. I may have taken out. What did I take out? Maybe Called by the Grave because I didn't really like going second. Called by the Grave. I don't know. I may have taken out Called by the Grave. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, definitely Nibiru and back row clear. Pank, pretty sure I put in as well. Anyway, I ended up Giga Bricking because my hand, like I said, I had like a DM Girl, Black Dragon, and Magical Ice Fusion. Like sometimes you just have like a god awful hand, right? And you can't play it. So nothing interesting about that. I did not so, you know, like save the replay. But for game 3, I did side deck. My side deck was, you know, because I chose to go first. My side decking was a lot easier. All I did was I put in Summon Limit and I took out Nadir Servant, and that's all I did, right? So, you know, Gozen is still good. Like, every card I had opening was still good. I just figured that Summon Limit is going to be better than Nadir if I'm going first. So yeah, I just decided that out. So let's get into game 3. Yeah, this one is probably more of a stomp, honestly. So I mentioned that he also has a Swordsoul deck. He has this Swordsoul monster here, and I guess he also has like some of the spells or traps for Swordsoul. Yeah, this deck is still like 80% Virtual World though. So I go first. He opens Harpies Dark Ruler, which is pretty good into my deck, right? Because he knows I run Dragoon and he knows I run back row. So this actually works out because I do not have Dragoon in my opening hand. But what I do have is, you know, Circle, Soul, and Summon Limit, right? And my good old buddy Solemn Judgment. So he immediately Harpies, and I have to Solemn Judgment this, otherwise I'm screwed. But that's okay. Like that's what Solemn Judgment's for, after all. So I cycle back Rod. He gets his draw 2. He starts popping off. He's basically full combo at this point. All right. As soon as he activates Long Run, which is the effect that special summon itself, I immediately chain the summon limit so that he's locked. Like he's no longer able to summon. So when he goes in the battle phase, I bring out DM. DM will take out Chuche because Chuche is the most annoying card that he has. Alright, at this point I can go into Dragoon. I have obviously Magical Ice Fusion, which can go like I can do I'm Duck and then Magical Ice, but I don't want to banish my Dark Magician, and like I don't really feel like I need to, right? I'd rather just play as I have. So this is gonna grab Soul Servant. I'm gonna stack Magician's Souls, get my DM Girl, and then I'm just gonna attack. Like he's still under summon limit. Like, you know, there's no there's no. I'm not really afraid of his deck at this point. Like, I mean, if he manages to clear, like he already used Harpies, like if he manages to clear like my board, like my front row anyway, like I can Eternal Soul. Yeah, I'm not worried here. And in fact, he draws, but he just surrenders because he knows he can't play through Summon Limit. Yeah, Summon Limit is just a great card. Have it in your deck. I used to main deck it. Now I side it in, and I main deck Gozen instead. Um, but yeah, Virtual World loses to both. Also loses to Rivalry. Also loses to. Does it lose to Skill Drain? Let me think about that one. Yeah, probably loses Skill Drain too, because he can't Ultimaya. He can't use Fan to banish anything. Yeah, yeah. Skill Drain is also great into this matchup. So, yep. So that was it. Pretty straightforward. Um, yeah. I don't know. I feel like him having Sword Soul didn't accomplish much. I mean, maybe because I just straight up like stopped him from summoning, right? So maybe he would have made a crazy play, but like Sword Soul stuff are level 8s and level 10s, and yet all his Virtual World tuners are 3s and 6s. So how is he gonna get to 8 and 10? I guess a 3 plus a 5 or a 3 and a 7. I don't know. It did not make sense to me like how he was supposed to get into that. I mean, maybe he expected. Oh, I'm silly. Yeah, his Sword Soul monsters can summon tokens. Yeah, so he doesn't actually need the Virtual World synchros. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I wish the game was a bit more. This match was a bit more interesting, but like, Virtual World is a meta deck. Sword Soul is like kind of meta. If I find a better matchup, like of pure Sword Soul or Sword Soul with the Tenny stuff, or maybe just like pure Virtual World, I'll probably make another uh, matchup replay. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you think I should still show the replay of like uninteresting games. Like in this case, I did not show game 2 because I just giga bricked and couldn't really do anything. But yeah, let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. Later.